Here are monks, all nuns, and all practitioners. The patriarchs have taught us when we practice, we need to end or stop the knowledge, the understanding. All the understanding and anything that we recognize or all of those, they're considered to be sickness. So in the Sura Master Sutra, it's stated that understanding, hearing, knowledge, knowing, this is all considered to be sickness. So anything that we under, because this is still in the duality. And because of this, we give rise to self-attachment. This is like darkness and brightness, wrong and right. All these are considered to be duality. We get stuck on this. We think all this, we understand all this. We think that this is knowledge and view. So anytime we establish knowledge and view, this is considered to be ignorance. And we go after all this all the time. And that's why we stay in the cycle of birth and death. And we stick with this karma. We got stuck with this karma. So if we create bad karma, we will fall into the three evil destinies. If we create blessing, if we create good deeds, then we have good blessing. Then we reincarnate into this the three levels higher than the three evil destinies. So that's why the Buddha said, if we know using this concept, then that considered to be just ordinary being. So the Buddha taught us to leave behind all this, to so in the Velamakirti, in the Sutra Velamakirti, it's stated the Dharma they mentioned is non-duality. But this is just the explanation. This is just the written text. This is just the and it's still knowledge and view. But this is considered to be skillful means. Without the skillful means, we will not be able to enter prajna. So we need to give rise to the contemplation prajna. We need to borrow the skillful means, the written text, the terminologies, the explanation. It's just like when we try to catch a poisonous snake. We need to have a way. It's just like catch the snake by catching its head. If we don't know how, then the snake will it will bite us. So we can die from. We can lose our life if we don't know how to catch the snake. So for the practice, when we're talking about written text, we need to understand the intention. Forget about the terminology or the explanation. We're not talking about get rid of the explanation or get rid of written text. We use them as a skillful means. So we don't establish when we understand the explanation. So when we listen to the explanation, we think about it, and so that we can practice accordingly to the principle. Just like the swan, the king, the swan, the king of the swan. It takes the water and milk, but it know how to get rid of the water. It just only take the milk. So one of the patriarchs has stated that we enter the way. It's not hard. It's not difficulty. It's not difficult. We just know how to choose, to select the door, the Dharma door. So if we know how to use the practice to enter prajna, then we'll be able to leave behind the duality. So for practice, for our practice, just ask a question, give rise to the doubt and maintain the doubt. So maintain the doubt is not the objective. It's not something that we grasp. So we use the question to give rise to the doubt, and the doubt will help us stop the attachment, and stop us from differentiate things. Because maintain the doubt, then it will lead us to the state of Pato, which is no thought arise. But we so familiar with the duality, with the relative. So, but if we maintain the practice, then we'll be familiar on the practice. So get familiar with the practice, we eventually get to the maintain the doubt, maintain the state consistently. But sometimes we think that we are consistent on the practice, but actually we still are going after the knowledge and view, and that is self-attachment. That is improving or making our ego bigger. For example, like empty space. Within empty space, there's darkness and brightness. But empty space is not darkness or it's not brightness. But when we look at the empty space, when we see darkness, we think that empty space is dark. But it has nothing to do with darkness or brightness. So all the worldly dharma, so it's just like the worldly dharma, when we practice, it's the duality. We attach them as real. So if we want to get out of this the duality, then we need to maintain the practice to get out of ignorance or the self-attachment. And then we'll be able to, and it will lead us to the manifestation of the self-nature. Or when we're talking about doubt, if there's a state, if we thinking about the state for us to grasp, then that is not right. We don't understand the intention of the patriarch. We practice and listen to the Dharma every day. There's difference between individuals. Some individuals, they just listen to the Dharma talk and they just going after the knowledge and view. But the other individual, they just understand the explanation and they just try to maintain the practice. So all this is a reminding, and as a practitioner, we just go back to our practice. Just like it's like taking care of an ox. We need to be careful, otherwise the ox will will violate by going to the other people's ground area. And we have to be careful. We have to take precaution. So this is just the reminding. So now anyone who has any question about the practice, you can bring it up. Namo Sakamuni Buddha. We invite Pháp Tuệ to speak. We invite Kim Ying to speak. Oh, Master, let Pháp Tuệ, Sư Cô Pháp Tuệ to speak. Namo Sakamuni Buddha. Dear Master, dear All Master, all nuns, and all practitioners. After Master explanation, I reflect myself, and I have seen my sickness, my like the notion. I have a notion between the attachment in the duality. For example, like karma. I have heard people say when we end the karma, there's no more karma, then that is that's end. But I look at this. I have an angle to look at. When we study Buddha Dharma, we have the natural thinking. Like, for example, like when we feel hungry, we eat. And like when we don't want to eat, and we don't eat. We don't try to force ourselves to do things. If we force ourselves too much, then we will not be able to walk on the way. So like this morning, you mentioned about this, and I feel like I fall into one of the So can you explain a little bit further? Even we know that we have practice, even know that we should not attach anything, but it seems like we still have attachment. So can you explain it, Namo Sakamuni Buddha? Very simple. Just go back to the practice. Ask the question clearly. When we ask the question clearly, that's when we have a direction to the practice. So any knowledge that we have, any understanding that we have, it stops. If we don't maintain the practice, then we keep feeding ourselves the knowledge and view. And the more we understand and know, it may lead us to a lot of false thoughts. So we have to be careful. If we're not, it's just like we walk to the end of the road, and that's a deep we may fall down. So all this has to do with the knowledge and view and self-attachment, and we still have a seeking mind that we want to to get to the final state, the self nature. But if we have this thought, and we still get stuck with our practice. We don't use the practice to subdue anything. If we just have the practice normal, as simply as it can be, so our practice. So the Buddha has mentioned, absolutely, our mind, we tie ourselves down. It has to do with the thought of differentiation. We go after the duality. We still attached with the self-attachment. And this is still in an illusion. And that is not going back to our true self. So if we take the practice as a tool, if we're not familiar with the practice, then the practice, it may be still a false thoughts. So when we practice, we practice in a way that we be able to stay within the thought of inflow, not outflow. So the Buddha has stated that chi nhất từ chống hòa chi môn. I mean, if we give rise to the knowing just one word, that is the door to disaster. So for the direct method, the patriot, they point it out directly, and they directly point directly to our face. Sometimes they yell at, they scold. So our practice gets to the state of not knowing. It's not like it is to the state that we really leave behind the duality, to the state that we have no thought, all right, to the state that we don't differentiate things. We try not to avoid any circumstances, any condition. If we try to avoid all the condition, try to avoid any interaction, that is not the practice. So there's sometimes anything that comes to us, it can be anything that comes. Maybe is not favorable, but that is really to test ourselves, to test our practice, to see if we overcome all this. We invite Kim Ying to speak. Namo Sakamuni Buddha. Dear all monks or nuns and the rest of the assembly, dear Master, I would like to ask a question about the practice. Dear Master, when we ask a question, it rises to a doubt. In our mind, it appears a thought of fear. We fear about birth and death. There's so many fears. And sometimes we don't think about all this, but it come up in our mind. And when this appear or come into our mind, we don't have the energy. So how can we overcome all this? So can you explain this so that we can overcome? There's no other ways to subdue all this. Just practice. Just practice according to the principle. So the principle of this having no desires, no seeking, no attaining, leading to no fear. So when we rely on the triple jewels, rely on the triple jewels to help us, to protect us, to improve our belief in our own mind, to improve our practice, help us. So this is to strengthen our the belief in our own mind. It's just like when we be close to the good advisor, to Dharma friends, to the monastery. So this is also considered to be external power. So with the self, the own power, we need this as well. So that's why the patriarchs encourage us to get close to the monastery. So they encourage us to participate in the retreat, to get close to the Dharma friends. So due to the virus, we have this Zoom. So without the Zoom, not that many people know this Dharma. So there's any benefits, but there's good and bad going on, coming. I mean, so sometimes we give rise to a thought of, this is good enough. So sometimes we think about ourselves, we are diligent enough. And that's why we try not to really practice. So we give rise to a lot of thoughts. It's most of the time it go against our practice. So like sometimes we're thinking about going to the monastery, but we come late, then we leave early. It's not really taking the practice as priority. So that our consciousness keep misleads us. If we take birth and death seriously, and we take the practice as the number one priority, then so a lot of time it go in the opposite direction. We bring forth the mind of practice, but most of the time it go the opposite direction. So the state of Plato is actually the state of not dwelling anywhere, not having any attachment. But if we don't get there, then we get rise to a lot of false thoughts. We get attached to a lot of things. And that's why we need to keep the practice going at all times, relying on good no advisor, triple jewels. So it doesn't matter what circumstances coming in. We're just going back to the practice. Doing this is just like go to a training. We train our body to stay healthy. And so the mind is just similar to our body. If we practice, then the attachment will become less and less. And the more we do, then we become at ease and peaceful. So this is just an example. In the Diamond Sutra, if we let go of everything, then we then we'll be clear on everything. But if we attach to everything, then we don't have any clear understanding, and we're not be at ease and at peace. In the past, people try to catch the monkey, and it's not easy. So they come up with a plan to create a hole, and they put the food inside the hole, and the monkey will try to go in there and get the food, and then when it get in there, it gets stuck. They can catch it. So the Buddha gave an example like the 5 desires. It's just like the poisons, and if we attach to this, we stay in the cycle of birth and death. So there's no any other way. For the practice, we need to rely on the spiritual, rely on the Dharma friends, and slowly we will be able to sweep out all the attachment. So the doubt is automatically sweep out. Without the practice, with the understanding, with the intelligent, like the worldly intelligence, we'll not be able to sweep all this. The practice, the doubt, automatically sweep all this. So we use this, take advantage of this, take advantage of the skillful means, using the explanation, using the written text, or the as a tool, so that we can maintain the practice. So in the Sangrama Sutra, the Buddha said, all the skillful means is just like the second image of the moon. So the Buddha has a lot of examples in the sutra. So if we be able to maintain the practice, we will be able to eradicate all the ignorance, all the attachments. Do you understand what I try to say? Yes, I do. Thank you. We'll invite Tâm to speak. Dear Master, dear all monks or nuns and the rest of the assembly, I have shared one of the Dharma friends in DC. So this friend said, usually in the summer, she used to take the kids to play sports. And this person shared with me when he took his kids to the playing sport, then he went to the cemetery. He used to chant the mantra. But when he talked to Master, Master said, just going back to practice using the Huato method. So I have a question. Does it have any effect when we do this method, investigating Zen? We as a practitioner, Zen practitioner, we practice anywhere, any circumstances. So the energy, the power, the sincere mind that we have no thought of seeking, this is the most powerful tool. This is the is better than any other methods. So before we don't know this practice, then we try to imitate what other people do. and we don't know it's good or bad. We don't know it's wrong or right. We just try to do like everybody else. But now we have the practice. This energy, this is the proper distribution. And this is the right view. And if we have this will affect big time, not just our loved one, but it will affect all the beings there, not just our loved ones. And this has to do with paying respect to gratitude. So for our practice, it will overcome, it will leave behind the duality. Even though our practice is not that great, comparing to other people, but this is the right view. This is the right seed, good cause, right cause. So maybe in the future, because we already have this seed, the sincere mind, maybe in the future life, when we encounter this, we'll be able to practice and get to the, will be successful on the practice. So when we give rise to good thought, then all our loved ones will benefit, affect all our loved ones and all beings. So just like the Buddha himself, when he got enlightened, he got back to the to the palace. Everybody in the Sakya family, they all, it affects everyone there. So he crossed over all of them, all of them, all his families. So Kapatula. So anyone who has affinity with the Buddha Dharma, they can enter the proper Dharma. They can. So any ordinary being, any beings, if they have affinity with the Buddha, then they'll be able to understand. So anybody who so all this has to do with cause and condition as well. So for our practice, which we practice in a way, we practice the right Dharma, and then we'll be able to liberate ourselves to end our self-attachment. So believe in our own mind, and the more we practice, then so just try to encourage him. Just maintain the practice. So before that, so now before we chant the mantra, but now we know this practice. So you can still go there and just practice this practice, and so that the beings, all the beings, will be affected and create an opportunity for all the beings there to know this practice. So the time is up. Namo Sakamuni Buddha.